So it's Fall 2, Practicum, UMass Global. We've done Summer 1, Summer 2, Fall 1, Fall 2, each looking at the 9 competencies. Let's review at the end of this semester. Starting with competency number 1, demonstrate ethical and professional behavior. I believe that this has been very accomplished and revisited over and over when looking at different situations with the clients that are now entering into Social Security income. Managing professional boundaries, including meeting clients now in person over at Starbucks or where they feel most comfortable. Before, with COVID, we were not allowed to visit with clients personally, but now we can. So it's maintaining those boundaries in a safe and ethical way. Looking at competency number 2, engage in diversity and difference in practice. This last term, I've had quite a challenge with different groups being diverse from not just the culture group, but also economic standing, the socioeconomic group of foster youth, and we'll discuss that in a minute. Demonstrate advanced insight into personal biases and values. Learning how to allow a person to maintain their dignity and respect. That is really important. Number 3, competency advanced human rights and social, economic, and environmental justices. Environmental justices. In today's society, so many things don't seem very just. Respecting the client is under this topic. Identify and pursue avenues of achievement of environmental justice. I'm going to pause here and go back to what I wanted to talk about. This last term, more importantly, the focus has been not on the what you know, but on the who you know. So I had a youth this term that was a foster youth who lost their status when they turned 18, which meant they also lost their home. And now they became a homeless youth who, because they were a youth that went to court and provided the court with the rights to go to another person to care for them, they let go of their own rights as a foster youth. So the rights that foster youth might have received up until age 21, they lost. And now they turned 18. And that person that stepped up to be their legal guardian stepped down. So now this young person that could have had more benefits for 3 more years lost all those benefits, and now what do? So as a team and being a student, I knew that I did not know much about the foster system for those teens that quote unquote aged out at the age of 18. So I needed to look at not what did I know, but who did I know. I contacted former instructor who is still working with UMass Global in the social work department, and asked them, because they work in my county in the foster youth system, who can I talk to in my county to get this youth services? So Dr. Howard was very beneficial. It's those making connections that would always be beneficial, even when I'm not a student, making those connections now, so I'm able to connect with the clients, maintaining their humanity, maintaining their dignity, knowing that this youth didn't have any money, a place to live. We were able to provide them with a box of food and a gift card to Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is a place where they don't sell alcohol or tobacco, so the youth can buy supplies that they might need, whether it's toiletries or food, and we know that it's going to go towards things that they need. So again, this term has been more focused on who do I know. I had another youth contact me and told me that they weren't ready to look for a job due to grieving the loss of a loved one. And again, was able to turn to a professor and say, who do we have that's low income that provides grief care? So unique services and finding those resources has been very instrumental during this term. Going back to the 9 competencies now, finding competency number 4, engage in practical informed research. There you go. It was practical informed research, researching where these young people can go to get the services that they need. By the way, the foster youth working with Department of Rehab was able to get clothing, a set of 4 outfits, a watch, socks, underwear, shoes, everything that they needed for clothing, jacket and hoodie. So keeping an eye on that youth for a few more months to make sure that they've gotten integrated into their society. Number 5 is engage in policy procedures. So looking at the policy of the foster youth and how can we provide services to them. Again, you can't double dip. So if they're a foster youth who's been adopted out, they've gotten their resources. But if they're a foster youth that has not been adopted or have a legal guardian, then they still can get resources and should have a proactive case manager. So it's analyzing those policies and learning about those policies that took place during this term. Competency number 6, engage in the individuals, families, groups, and organizations. Certainly have engaged with the family unit, the individual, and various organizations to get resources for this student. The resources would include the foster care, Department of Rehab. We worked with the DMV. We got them their birth certificate, their social security cards. There are a lot of different agencies that we had to work with the client to get them ready for a job. And by the way, they got a job because they had all the pieces put together that they needed. Competency number 7, assess individuals, families. So to assess those groups. The group assessment now that I've been focusing on are my foster youth. I'm working on designing a PowerPoint for my teammates to try to train them in the foster youth in case they encounter the same issues that I have encountered. Competency number 8, intervene with individuals. I have intervened in every level with this young person, and not only just intervened, didn't just step in and say, hey, I'm here, I got these resources for you, and I'm gone. But instead, I intervened and said, you know what, I want to monitor you. Normally we monitor for 3 months, and that includes the Christmas holiday, and a lot of people working at Amazon then get laid off. So let's monitor you for more than 3 months. Let's see if we can monitor you 4 or 5 months and see how you're at, where you're at that time. And if you still need more time, we can add more time. Being that pro advocate for the young person with both Department of Rehab and the other agencies has been wonderful to give them more resources. So we go to competency number 9. Evaluate practice with individuals, groups, organizations, and communities. Develop evaluations, plans to monitor the client. This has been the one thing that I've really worked on, is monitoring what is the outcomes with my clients. What is the evaluation at the end of the day? Now, typically, our evaluation is only based on how many people we get placed in a job. So typically the evaluation would say I need to have 25 people placed in 10 months. I already have 20 plus people placed in a job in less than 10 months. So for me, instead of just looking at people as numbers and the 25 placements, I'm looking more deeply at those placements and what are their real deep needs and are they getting met? Certainly, many of those kids just needed a job and that was an easy placement. But I have a few who have dealt with death, foster youth, COVID with a loved one, and getting them more specific resources and spending more time on that individual personal level than before. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next term.